Got a 1999 Ford Super Duty with a gasser in it, gas engine. It's got the 6.8, the V10. Anyways, customer complaint is, well, I'll show you here. I'll go down the road here. We'll watch the miles per hour here. I got everything hooked up in the scope and everything. I'll show you what's going on. Just give me a minute here and I'll show you. Hopefully you can see that with this glare. A little bit of a glare. But miles per hour reads, but let's get going. You got to be going more than 35 miles an hour. Get 35, 40. And I'll just tap the brakes. Well, before I get 35, 40, so I'm going 20, I tap the brakes, you know, slow down, everything's good. But watch the miles per hour here. I'm gonna get going above 35. Tap the brakes, look at that. It just shoots down. I don't know if you can see that in the video, I hope you can. Let me try it again here. Okay, we're going again here. If I tap the brakes here, just slow down, nothing. But if I get going here, let's get up to 35, 40. So we're going 40, I just let off. Let me just tap them. See, it's all jittery. It loses signal real quick. You can see that in the video, I would hope. So let me pull over here and I'll show you what I'm scoping on this to figure out. But when you get below 35, it doesn't do it. This truck was, I guess, it had a fire, so there's a bunch of burnt wires. They did put a different engine in it for other reasons. So I don't know, is it an input problem? Sure, it seems like interference when I hit the brake. I don't think it's a speedometer issue. Obviously, I think it's an input problem with it, and I'll show you here in a minute. And the faster you go over 35, the worse it seems to drop. More sensitive to it. I'll show you here. Shifting right. See it dropping there. Let's pull back over and take a look. But we'll also have to look up this Canto because I don't think it got out of second gear. Didn't feel like it. We'll take a look though. And I believe the shop put a new speed sensor in it too. It's got a output speed sensor in it, I believe new. It's got a fast idle too. Anyways, let's go in here. We're gonna go to the schematics here. So instrument cluster, solid state. I'm pinned into, back probed into the gray black pin 7 there. That's your indication. It goes through this joint connector. It's your gem module, overhead trip computer, speedometer, or speed control, powertrain, and your ABS system, VASS. And that's what I'm scoped on. Well, if you look right here, well, let's turn this trigger off. Well, we don't need it. I'll leave the trigger on. I'll go to a 1-second division. I got a bias voltage of like, I don't know, a little bit over 4 volts. When I tap the brakes, it goes up. Turn the trigger off. 4 volts, tap the brakes, it goes up. I'm holding the brakes, up, let go, down, up, down. Tap the brakes, up, let go, down. See where we're at here. 4.44 roughly. Tap them, it goes up to 5. If I change this to a 10 volt reference, goes right to 5 in the middle. Let go, goes down to 4. So right now I'm not touching the brakes, everything's kosher. As soon as I touch the brakes, the bias voltage goes up. Back to a 20-second division. Let's drive it and watch this. All right, let me get driving here again. Reverse neutral drive. Can't see it in there because I have that hooked. So, let me get going here. I have a trigger on there now because you can see it moving there, the lines. So let's go to a faster time base. Let's go to 5 milliseconds of division. Get off the road here, make sure we're clear. Okay, you can see this, I guess like a sine wave almost. Then it'll start, faster you go, you'll see a frequency pick up. Make sure we're clear here. So that's what the computer's seeing right there. That's the same wire scope. I'm holding, if I touch the brakes, I think it's my trigger, the way it's trigger set up there. The whole bias voltage goes up. Well, I was trying to film and drive. I had a lot of hash in there, and it's because I had a bad connection back here and stuff. But anyways, I'm holding the brakes now. I let off. Give me I'm holding the brakes. It's up. I let off. It goes down. Hit them. It goes up. There's your bias voltage changing. I got some interference. I didn't have interference before. It's my leads here or not, but or if there's something else going on. But I touched the brakes. You can see the bias voltage changing. That's what we need to concentrate on, anyways. And I need to hook up. Scan this thing too, because it sure doesn't feel like it's getting out of second gear. I don't want to speed in town, obviously. I'm gonna watch this again here. Touch the brakes, drops down. See it there? It looks a lot. Well, sometimes it's clean, sometimes it's not. Touch the brakes and it drops down. All right. Like I said, it's hard to film and drive, but I'm not touching the brakes. I touch them, bias voltage goes up. Let's just turn the trigger off, see where we're at. A little bit above a 4, and I'm not touching it. Hit the brakes, right there. 5 volts, let go, goes down. See where we're changing. I hit the brakes. We got about, I don't know, almost 7/8 of a volt. Call it almost a volt difference. That drop in there was not me. So the engine's idling or what? But anyways, hit the brakes, goes up. That should not change. Now, if we look at this, it's just gray and black wire. That's what we're probed on right here. Through this whole circuit, I'm sure it's affecting it. Is this gray and black wire shorted to something? Or is it a background somewhere that's affecting this circuit? That's all I got to figure out. One of two options, or maybe more, but A, this wire, gray and black, shorted somewhere from the fire, or B, there's a ground issue with wiring our module or something. The only thing that's changing though is when I hit the brakes, there's a brake switch there and a pressure switch on the master cylinder. Pressure switch on the master cylinder and a brake light switch. So we can start looking at that and seeing what we got going on, if that's interfering with it. When you're up here, obviously don't do nothing, but it's affecting that circuit only above those miles per hour. All right, so quick test, I guess, is I unplugged this, you probably can't see really, this brake switch here to the brake switch. And then I get up here. Now the bias voltage is split between those two lines I had. Touch it. Moves a little bit. Let's go drive and see what it does now. Well, you can't even get out of gear now, so that doesn't even matter. Because because it needs to see that input. Alrighty. Another approach. Brake switch back in. Bias voltage changes again. You can see it. I unplugged a pressure switch under the hood. That didn't change nothing. Bias still changing a lot. So that's not the issue. Plug back in the pressure switch on the brakes, but everything's plugged back in. You can see it's still affecting it. So we definitely got to go after that switch under there, or that circuit under there. So what I did here is I got it in gear, and then I reached under and unplugged it. So now our brake switch is not hooked up, but I'm stuck in like third gear, second or third gear. I want to see if that even, if it changes. I guess I'm gonna look up here and see if it affects. Well, it doesn't even read the speedometer now. With the brake switch unplugged, it, oh, it does, never mind. I have to go get faster. I just want to see if it does it now. My scaling's all off, that's why that scope looks like that. So I'm doing a different test now. Let's get above 35. Help to take the e-brake off, huh? Hang on. Okay. Let's do this again. Got a panel fall down my lap. It's not stuck in third gear no more. It was the freaking e-brake I left on my dumb asphalt just for a little bit. Okay, let's go above. There's 40. Let's tap the brakes. Nothing. No interference. That is exactly what's interfering with this circuit. I only had the e-brake on back there because I was unhooking that switch, put it in drive, and I didn't want it to, you know, get away from me. But anyways, back to this. So let me get up to another road here where I can turn, where it's safe. Go left here. Okay, now we got a kid on a bike. Welcome to Mountain Home, Idaho. Anyways, let's get going here. Touch it, nothing. It works like a champ. Let's do it again. Nothing. Bias voltage stays the same. Sorry about it. I'm trying to film and do all this at one time. It does eventually shift too. It just shifts at a lot higher RPM, I guess. I'm used to driving my vehicle, so I took it on the highway a little bit more, and it does shift. It's got to get up to like 3,000, 2,500, 3,000 RPMs. That's how hard you're on the gas. So it's definitely that brake switch circuit. We can look up the diagrams and then go from there. Then I hook it all back up. Same thing. Unhook it, it'll go away if I unhook it again. Like I said, we gotta look at that diagram. I'll see what the shop wants to do. Obviously, I doubt it's the switch. I guess it could be the switch, but more than likely it's in that wiring. And I'll see what they want to do. If they want me to go farther, we got to open that loom up or what, because it was in a fire, and go from there. All right, I'm not sure why I left off recording last time, but it's a new day, so it'll be part of the same video. But instead of me probing in the back of the cluster, I'm probing right up here, because the wire comes through the firewall. This was all burnt from before, and they cleaned it all up. But I'm referencing into battery ground. But if you look here, if I touch the brake, it goes up. See, it changes. If you remember from before, earlier in the video, just a little bit ago in the video, I suppose, when it's good, it's like halfway up between this bottom and the top there. and then our speedometer would work great. But once I get this figured out, it should work great. So what I do, started looking up here, moving these wires across, looking. But if I grab this harness here and I move it, you can see it changing. I don't know if you can see that in the video. I'm wiggling this wire right here, and it's changing. So let me open this loom up some more and see what we got. If you can see this in the video or not, but it got really warm there. It's kind of melted together. That's what I'll open up, because that's what I'm moving, and it's changing on the oscilloscope. Well, I'd pull up the wire diagram again, but my internet's not working. You have to look earlier in this video. But one of the things that went to is the speed control servo thing. And that's where this harness comes into. That's what I've been moving around. It goes into the speed control servo thing. This is like your cruise control, I suppose, because it goes back to your throttle body area. And it also goes to the PCM under the driver's side dash, ABS module up there, all that stuff. I unplugged this thing, went to 0 volts, and I plugged it back in, and I'll show you on the scope now. I also cut the wire earlier. I didn't show you that in the video. I just wanted to check on each side of the circuit. I'll solder and shrink through that back. When I check it on this side, 0. Checked on this side, I had voltage, which is coming from that. It's all plugged back in, back to factory now. And I have no voltage. That's just a spike there. So let's go drive it and see what we got now. Maybe there's never supposed to be voltage there, and it was that servo issue motor. But I'm going to solder the wire together first. I know it's hard to see because I got no lights, because it's dark out and I don't have my what you call it, light panel hooked up. I'm going to tap the brakes. Never went down. You can just see it. It's all good. It's an electrical connection at that speed control servo. And it looks like there's dielectric in there and corrosion. Just need to clean it up and it'll be good. There's supposed to be no bias voltage there ever anyways, it looks like. It's just bleeding over, watching that harness. So I hit the brakes again, nothing. So it is good to go. Alright, so I got the diagram pulled up. Like I said, I was checking all these. We were scoped there originally, earlier in the video. Then I started scoping up in here. But anyways, the speed controller, this is where I was moving that harness at. And I unplugged the speed controller and I looked at the connection. I haven't shown the video, but it's pretty nasty. There's some dielectric in there. I cleaned that up, and you just saw in the end of the video, it's all good. I did find out they put one in from a junkyard too, so they were in that area. But what they're going to do, they're going to clean up that harness there, clean all this up. There should be no bias voltage, because when I had unplugged and plugged it back in, there was no bias voltage. There was voltage bleed over from the brake switch, which I pull up another diagram. I'm sure it goes to this as well, so you can turn your cruise off. So it's all good to go. That'll be it for this video.